Hello Kalidas,
Hi.
welcome to Galattaplus.
Thank you, sir.
Why am I meeting you in Chennai?
Because I live here and then we haven't spoken in such a long time, so I was just waiting to talk to you and finally
Okay.
we are here.
Right, but why am I not meeting you while you're doing Malayalam films?
Because I'm not doing Malayalam films.
Why are you not doing Malayalam films?
For a lot of reasons. One, because I've not gotten the right movies. Two, because I've made some really bad choices in my movies that I've done, except for a very few. Three, I've never felt like I was part of the family.
Why is that? Your dad is like entrenched in the industry, right?
Definitely, it's because I have not done the right kind of work in Malayalam. Because if I was
Are you talking
doing,
about the audience or the industry?
I mean, like the industry especially, and also because I've not done the right kind of work, the audience too. Because at the end of the day, the audience have to connect with you in some way or the other, or they're just not going to like your work. So it's partly my fault, and also I feel like the industry has also been like not very fond of me.
Oh my god, that's like you got those vibes.
Yeah, heavily.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like they are giving chances to everybody else but not to Kalidas Jayaram.
No. I wouldn't say that because I've gotten a lot of opportunities. Finally when I do a movie and when it comes out, there are like so for example, I did this movie called Argentina Fans Cartoon. It's directed by Mithun Man. I don't think it's a bad movie, but the first day of the release of the movie, I was just going through the comments of the reviews on the YouTube. There are a lot of bots, like these the paid bots that you call it. Like they're commenting the same thing over and over again. So small things like these, like it makes you doubt a lot of things. But end of the day, movie works, it works. Otherwise,
Well, if it's any consolation, I'm a huge fan of Pumaram.
thank you, sir. I remember your tweet that you put out on the first day when the movie came out, and I was very happy. It made my day because, like a well-known reviewer, like they appreciated your work, but at the same time, a huge section they're not really connected to the movie. But yeah, thank you, sir.
Yeah, no, I really love that movie. I walked in without seeing Abridishine's earlier film.
Okay.
And I just didn't know what it was, and it just blew me away. So you're someone who said that I want to get into acting. You've always wanted to act, and at one point you said you did not have a plan B because if you have a plan B,
Plan A
then
doesn't
your
work.
plan A doesn't work.
Yeah.
What is this belief? Because this is an uncertain industry.
Yeah.
I mean, being a star kid is no real advantage or disadvantage. At best, it gets your foot in the door.
Yeah.
Beyond that, it's whether the audience takes to you, whether the people around you, what all that, right? What made you say, I don't want this plan B?
Sir, I've been acting since I was 6 years old. Like,
Yes, and you got a national award and all that.
Yeah. So I've been in cinema from that time. That's the only love that I've had, like, for my entire life. I've just wanted to be in this industry. Like, let it be an actor or like technician or anything like behind the camera, in front of the camera. I just wanted to be in this industry because I was so much in love with this industry. I've always felt this is the only thing I wanted to do in my life. Like, I didn't want to have a plan B in mind because mainly because I thought if I have a plan B, I might be subconsciously like relaxed saying, yeah, I know, like I have like a backup plan. So if this doesn't work out, I'll do that. I didn't want that comfort in my life. Like every day, like when I go to sleep, the only thing that I think of is like, will I ever make it as an actor? Or like, will I be ever like constantly be in cinema, like ever? Even now, like when I go to sleep, the last thing that I think of is like, how am I going to like stay in this industry?
Let's talk about your choices, right? See, one of the things that want to interview you is you are one of the few young actors who's made a very interesting set of choices. The son or daughter of a famous star makes a first movie. It's usually made a certain way to project their I can fight, I can do this, I can do that, made a certain way to kind of project them, right? But your movies have been like your first Malayalam movie was Pumaram.
Yeah.
After that you kind of, and that's not really a conventional movie at all. It's like, it's a mosaic kind of movie. Yeah. It's not really hero-centric in any way. It's more about a theme, right? It's, or even the movies that you've made after that, the films you've made in Tamil, whether it's playing a trans woman or dumped lover in Natchatram Nagargirathu, everything has been like kind of unheroic, and that's a good thing, is what I'm saying. But it's not been the kind of stuff that projects you as a hero,
Yeah.
right? Does that ever bother you that maybe you've chosen roles that interest you and roles that probably prove your caliber rather than roles that kind of take you towards a certain success path?
You know, like I've really been fortunate enough to have the opportunity to make my own decisions. That's like the only thing that I'm thankful of
But
in my life.
who else would make your decisions?
I mean, like I'm saying, the example that you gave, like if you're launching someone, most of the times it's they have a lot of set of people who kind of design the project for them, or like
Okay.
you know, like project them in a certain way. In like it works in a lot of ways, which is a very good thing. And you have people to groom them and like do this PR, or like when you're making a public appearance, dress this kind of certain way. Fortunately, I didn't have anyone to do that.
But because your dad never said, I'll make a movie for you.
No, never.
You didn't ask him?
Never. I really wish. I mean, like, I wish I had some kind of like support or something like that from him. But mainly because he didn't have that. Like, he didn't have that, and he didn't know how to do that. Like, even though he's been in the industry for more than 35 years now, he doesn't know how to, you know, like pull strings and, you know, make things happen. Like, if he knew that, then he would be a much bigger actor than what he is right now. That is what I felt. So, fortunately, I didn't have that, you know, kind of push or support or whatever you call it. The only thing I had was the name that I'm Mr. Jayaram's son, which was good enough pressure for me. I made all the movies that you just mentioned. Everything was my decision. Like, I wanted to be in such movies. I wanted to be part of good movies, good content, like the content which I would want to watch, or like I would want to enjoy in theaters.
Right.
Yeah. So that's how I selected those movies.
Actually, in a way, that is a great way to ensure your longevity, because, you know, actors always survive longer than stars.
Yeah.
Stardom kind of goes away after a bit, you know, but actors, if you position yourself as an actor, that and you're doing these roles that interest you and which are kind of a thing, then you kind of think. But I was just wondering if your mind ever crossed it, like, maybe I should do one of those movies as well.
Yes, sir, but actually, like, தமிழில் சொல்லணும்னா நல்லா நடிக்க முடியுங்கிற சின்ன ஒரு திமிரு இருக்கு சார். ஸோ அதனால வந்து I wouldn't venture into that. There are a lot of people who can actually do that and pull it off really well.
I'm just going to translate that. You feel that you can act well. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I didn't know how to put it in English. So that's how, sir. Like, I really want to perform for the people, like in front of the camera. That gives me like a big high. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, it gives me that rush in my head.
Sure. And that's why you're doing what you're doing. What's your favorite performance?
Of all time?
Yours.
Of mine. Always,
which you felt was where you made the least mistakes?
That would be definitely Paavakadaigal, because that will always be very special to me, especially because before the movie, like in my life also, I was very low. So before that, all the things that I told you, the bots, the fake bots and things like that were happening, and I decided maybe this is not the industry for me. Like, I decided to quit acting, and
but that was a plan A.
Yeah, but I was so, you know, like I was so stressed out by a lot of things which is happening in my life, personally and career wise. So I just decided, you know, like I'm just going to leave. So I just flew to LA. I decided not to act anymore, and I was doing a theater course in LA. Like, I was just taking my time off this industry, and I was just there. 4 months down the line, I get a call from Sudha ma'am. So Sudha ma'am just calls me and she's like, "Hi Kalidas, I've seen your work in the ad, Cadbury's ad. I really love your work. I'll send you a script. Please read it and let me know." And then I read the script and I was like, "Ma'am, it's very nice, but I'm doing the other." She called me for Saravanan's character. Saravanan's at Sathar. I was called for Saravanan's character. Like, she was like, "Yeah, you have to play Saravanan's character because I have a very big actor who's going to play Sathar." So I was like begging her, "Ma'am, please give me this chance. You will not regret this." I kept pleading her, and I kept, you know, like I wanted to do that. But she was very strong, saying that she was auditioning and she had a lot of people in mind who were ready to do the character. And then months go by, and then she calls me again. She's like, "What did you do? You did some kind of black magic or something?" Because I've not found anyone. So you do the character, but if something goes wrong, I'll just scrap the whole project because I don't want to portray a certain community in a very bad way because we are representing a community.
Right.
It's not a child's play. So she was very particular about that, and thank God, like I got to work with her, and she's more than just a director to me. She's like my godfather.
Yeah, and she's a very good director of actors.
Yeah.
So she kind of molds
She knows
performances.
her actors very well.
Very well.
I think that's very important
Yeah.
to any filmmaker.
Yeah.
And I feel like the projects that didn't work for me was because my directors didn't know me that well, or I didn't take the effort to bond with my director.
So you're saying that I'm okay if I'm known as this soft hero. That's your career path, and that's fine as long as you get good roles that you connect with. You're not interested in doing the traditional macho whatever.
I mean,
thing.
obviously, I'm interested, sir, but I've never been like, I've never planned my career in a certain way. See, tomorrow if I get a...
But you did say you picked certain roles that you wanted to.
Yeah, that also was not part of a plan saying that I want to do this, or like, I got it, so I did it. So it was never part of my plan saying that I have to do this, I have to do that. But the only plan was that I want to be part of good movies, you know, like even it can be, for example, Vikram. It is a commercial movie, it's a mainstream movie. There are so many superstars in the movie. I had literally 2 scenes in the movie, but I wanted to be part of that movie. That's why I did that movie. And it gave me a huge reach. Wherever I go, like they're calling me Prabhanjan. So you never know, like being part of a good movie is more important to me than playing a lead in a bad movie, is what I feel.
Yeah. So you're just like, I'm going to go where the flow takes me.
Yeah, really, sir. Like, because in my life and in my career, nothing has like happened according to my planning. So right now, everything is going just fine. So I just want to go with the flow.
You know, but there are 2 theories to acting, right? One is the Spencer Tracy kind of way in which he's like, just keep it basic. Just learn your lines and don't bump into the furniture. There's no fuss. This is a very simple thing, just that, right? There's other things, right? Like there's method acting, there's all these other things. And one of my favorite quotes about acting is by Leonard Nimoy, who played Mr. Spock in the original Star Trek series. You know, he said this, and I'm going to read it out to you. The true creation of a character other than one's self is comparable to a mystical or spiritual experience. To stand in another person's shoes, to see what that person sees, to hear what that person hears, to know what that person knows, and to do all this with a sense of control, there must be more than just a natural talent at work.
That's so true, sir.
Like, you think that's
it's
true?
So true. It's so true in a lot of ways. And also, I feel like it's a process you cannot explain, sir. Like, I mean, there are certain techniques to acting, but you can never like teach acting, or like, I hope you get what I'm saying.
You're
like,
saying that you have to be born with those genes.
Never, sir. You can be born with a certain talent, but you can
hone it.
Yes, sir. So over time, you have to go through a process which evolves you into an actor, which, you know, like, for example, Mammootty, sir. He is evolved into this beautiful actor, and when you see his latest movies, we have, like, the new actors have so many things to learn from him. Like, he's so subtle and he's so minute in his acting.
Yeah.
He's you never feel like he was an actor who started off in the 80s. You know, his acting is millennial. Like,
it's current.
It's current. It's so updated. So that is the best kind of acting, I feel. You know, that's how you learn. That's how you keep updated. It's and acting is it's an art form where it keeps evolving. You cannot learn acting and say like I know to act.
Right.
It's a process.
Largely, people consider big acting as good acting, right? Like you're projecting a lot. You're showing a lot. You're like the anti-Mammootty. What you just said. You scream a lot. You do a lot. And oh wow, good acting. That's also there.
Yeah, that is also there, sir. But the character must require it, I feel. Like, if you're just going to shout and yell for no reason, I feel like it might not stay for a longer period, because at the end of the day, it should look real, sir. Acting is more, it's all about making the audience believe, I feel.
That you're somebody else.
Yeah. And also making the situation and making the things that is happening on screen, the audience should believe it. So if you're going to be a little over the top, the situation must demand it. Otherwise, it's just going to look fake on screen, is what I feel. A good actor should always make it believable. It may be like over the top, or it can be subtle. Just have to make it believable.
So tell me about your like how you got into the character of Sathar.
It was not easy. I can tell you that much, because I'm completely new to this. I mean, new as in like I have seen trans people. I have spoken to them, but I have not interacted with them on a day-to-day basis. So that was very new to me. Let aside the whole movie and Pavakadegal and Tangam, me as a human being or me as a person learned a lot just interacting with them, is what I feel, because I had to interact with a lot of trans women. My job would just be to come to office in the morning and just sit and listen to their stories. That made a huge change in my brain. Like subconsciously, that changed my mind in a lot of ways. It altered my brain. It altered my thinking.
In what way?
Very frankly speaking, I didn't know that they were going through so many issues, like on a day-to-day basis. It was a learning experience for me just to listen to their stories, and like, for example, they would talk about their gender transformation surgery. I mean, it sounds very simple, but the pain and the process that they go through, it is just excruciating to even listen to it, or just keep hearing their stories. So that in general changed my perspective. And then I was fortunate enough to work with Kalairani ma'am, who helped me out with my character Tangam. She was extremely sweet. I mean, I only worked for 10 days with her, with the script. I still remember one day, like, we were rehearsing one of the scenes. Until then, I didn't try out my costumes. I didn't try out my costumes, or like I was not in my makeup. So one day she told me, you wear your costume and do your makeup and you come for rehearsals. That was like maybe 1 week after our rehearsals. We were just doing out a scene where I was breaking down and I was talking to Shantanu. After that, she took me to a room, and then there was a very old mirror there. Like, it was very dusty. Like, she wiped the dust off the mirror, and then she said, look into the mirror. And then I couldn't see myself in the mirror, sir. So I don't know how to explain it. That's the kind of magic that happens when you put your 100% into a character. Like, I really realized what it can do to you, or how it can change you. The process of, like, understanding the skin of the character. Like, it's called living the character, sir. So that's a magic. I don't know how to put it in words. It's a process that happens over time. If you're really putting your heart and soul into it, it'll happen automatically.
So now, when your father was like throughout his career, whatever, in his early days, if he wanted to, let's say, study acting, there was nothing available. Max he could do was go and watch movies in the theater or something like that, right? Or maybe go to some obscure library and get a few books or something like that. We live in a very different age where there are videos about every aspect of filmmaking. So many books are available for free on the internet. Plus, you can buy whatever books you want. You went to LA for a theater class. You can, everything has changed in terms of accessibility to learning the craft or art or whatever it is. How much of that have you done, or do you do?
That's helped me so much, sir. Like, today, if I want to see an actor or how he performs, I just have to type his name on YouTube and the video just pops up. So it's just a matter of seconds. I can watch his work, I can learn from his work, or for that example, anything, any kind of doubt I have, I can just pick up my phone and I can just do it. So that has helped me so much, sir. I still remember my dad keeps telling me, like, he used to go to he was staying in a village called Perimbaur, which is a big city right now. So that time, like, he didn't have any theaters or like movie screening places. So he had to travel all the way to Kochi. Like, he had to take a bus, go to Kochi, and there were no seats. He had to sit down, the talkies. So he had to sit down and he had to watch the movie. And I still remember, this is very funny. Like, sometimes the projectionist will be too lazy to play the last few reels. So you'd just peep out through the projector room and he'd say, then climax, this thing will happen. Okay, bye. So that used to happen. They didn't even play the last few reels. So I'm kind of fortunate I was born into this time, but also I would have loved to seen how cinema worked back then.
Right.
But yeah, that's how it is.
Yeah. But the thing is, can you give me an example? Like you said, if you want to see how this actor has done this thing, you'd Google his name. Like, can you give an example of an actor that you Google for a role or something that you wanted to just see how somebody did something or?
Joaquin Phoenix has always been a very like not only because he did Joker or this thing, but generally his movies.
All his James Gray movies.
Yeah. Especially love that movie, Her. That movie really, like, I don't know why, but his performance in that movie, because he doesn't have a character to emote to. He's just talking to a voice and he's emoting it all by himself. So that really surprised me. Those kind of works really move me. So like I watched Joker and I was like, if I get to like perform at least 0.5% of what this guy does, then I would consider that as a big achievement. So his work really has moved me, and I've watched a lot of his interviews and a lot of how he does. But like he's a very mysterious kind of person, so I never kind of found out what he does.
Yeah, I think it's some actors like to talk about their process and what they do, and some people
they don't. They're very mysterious. Yeah.
Even if they try, they can't put it in words.
Yeah.
They can't explain it properly. Yeah. So that's kind of you. Can you talk about your process?
I think I'm like that, sir. But when I do something, sir,
you're saying you're the mysterious kind.
Yeah, sir. Not that I want to be the mysterious kind, even though I won't be able to put it in words. But what I do is like when I do a scene or like when I'm acting out a certain situation, I just tend to like go by my own emotions, like how I would react in that situation. I just learned my lines in a very basic manner, and I'll be very happy if my director says don't say your lines exactly like that, because that is a kind of an issue for me, because when I talk or when I emote something, the words that or the kind of sentences or the lines or my modulation, everything is different. So that liberty, if the director gives me, I think that would make a big difference. But other than that, I try to keep it very simple and very straightforward and very real and not very over the top. So that's how I do. That's my process.
What is your USP? What is Kalidas Jayaram? Have you asked any of your directors, why do you think I fit this role?
They felt that I'm a very relatable guy. Okay. You can see a Kalidas Jayaram walking down any street is what I feel. That's why maybe my first director balajitharaneetharan sir selected me for Urupakka Kadai.
Oh, that came before Meen Kudumbam Manpanam.
Yes. We shot that very long back, much before Meen Kudumbam Manpanam happened. But sadly that didn't get to see the screens because of a lot of issues internally, like from the production side and all that. They thought it's not, like coming back to the other topic, they thought it's not a sellable, profitable movie.
Yeah.
But that's how our industry works. You can see a lot of Saravnans walking down like on a day-to-day basis. So a lot of my directors said you fit that very relatable kind, which I feel I'm very blessed with.
Are you competitive? Do you look at what people your age are doing in terms of what they're acting in, the kind of directors they're working with, the kind of successes they're having? Do you kind of look at all that?
I mean, I don't look at the success, but I do look at what they're doing and the kind of directors they're working with. But also, what I look at is when I work with a certain actor, I'm very competitive. I want to perform better than them. I know it's selfish, but that's the kind of actor I am. Like, I just very badly want to perform better than them.
Why do you feel it's selfish? It's very natural, right?
It is natural, but I don't know if it's always good for the movie. Like stealing someone else's. I don't do that, but somehow I want to perform. Even when it comes to Nakshatram Nagar Kitadu, like I had Dushara, I had Kalai. Like it was always like who's gonna, like it was a competition between all three. Like who was
healthy competition.
Yeah, that's healthy, but that is there in me. Like I feel it's good.
So that you are looking out for like.
I am. So I do not only my age actors, but I follow up with everything. Like whatever is happening, what kind of content is coming up in our industry, or like especially new directors who are coming up. Like I make a note of all that, because I want to work with filmmakers who explore new emotions, because there are only certain emotions that you can explore. Like humans have only certain emotions. in that what you can do, like what something new that you can present to the audience. I like to work in those kind of projects, so I do keep in touch with everything, like whatever is happening new.
Right, no wonder you started Oru Pakka Kadai then. That's such a new story,
Yeah.
and I don't think anybody's played that kind of role before.
Yeah, so because I was studying in Loyola when Nadula Konjam Pakkatha Kaanum released, and I think you had reviewed that movie, and like also a lot of people were talking very good things about the movie, and it had created this new wave. Nadula Konjam Pakkatha Kaanum, Pizza.
Yeah.
That's when Vijay Sethupathi was coming
Yeah.
up, and we as like Viscom students, we were going crazy. We had to watch the movie. And not in my wildest dreams did I guess that I would, be playing. A couple of years later, I would be playing the lead in his movie. And same goes with the case of Madras. I was watching Madras, and 10 years down the line, I'm doing his movie. So it's very important to manifest. I feel like you have to manifest in your dreams, and you have to believe in your dreams. Only then it's going to happen, I feel.
Yeah, actually, that you do sound a bit like a philosopher.
Oh my God.
Not in a heavy way,
Okay.
but as someone who kind of puts his faith in things like positive energies and things like that, because the thing is, it's easy to be negative about a lot of things, right? It's like
it's very easy.
You seem to have crossed that.
Yeah, thankfully. I hope it doesn't come back. Yeah, I tend to, spread positivity. I mean, I don't know what positivity means, but I tend to keep my people around me happy and, smiling all the time, because I feel that's very important. It's very easy to be depressed and, sitting inside your room all the time. Because I've done that. I had a phase in my life where I used to be just sitting inside my room. I never used to get out of my house. I used to get angry at everyone. Like, my family had a very bad time coping with that whole phase. But, I'm happy that phase is crossed, and I'm doing what I love. And I'm getting some good work that means so much to me than anything else in this world. So I'm happy.
What is the best piece of advice, acting advice, that your father ever gave you? And I'm asking you this because he comes from a generation where people were doing like 3-4 shifts and different characters, and they had to go back the next day and keep the character continuity despite the fact that they might have played this other character earlier and all that. So what did he generally tell you when you said, I want to become an actor? What was his advice?
I remember my dad, he used to shoot 16 to 17 movies per year. So that is the kind of cinema that I grew up watching.
Yeah.
So he told me just one thing. He never gave me advice as to how to act or something like that. But he told me one thing. You don't have to do movies to earn money. So that's the only thing he told me. You don't have to depend on movies to raise a family, or like to depend on movies for money, because you're blessed with that. You do what you love. You do the movie. Even if you do one movie, or like in 2 years or like 3 years, do what you love. That is something which I always keep in my mind. But not necessarily I want to do a movie every 3 years. That's not what I want to keep working like all the time. But I don't do movies just for the sake of business or whatever, like so-called business or money or whatever. I try to make it very simple. If I love the content, if I love the team, if I love the director, and if the story needs to be told to the people, that's very important. I feel like there should be a certain purpose in the story. Like I'm not a very big fan of doing movies where there are no purpose to it. Like, there should be a purpose to a movie, and I feel something. At the end of the day, the audience must take something back with them. It might not be a message necessarily, but
it could be entertainment.
It could be anything. It could be entertainment. It could be love, like Nakshatram Nagaradu, or it could be share a laughter with their friends. It could be anything. So, but they have to take back something, is what I feel.
You're so careful about choosing projects. You want the team to be good. You want everything to be good. The story to be good. This, that, all that kind of stuff. When the project starts, and sometimes you realize that, oh my God, this is not happening, and this is really not going the right way. I did all my calculations, but it's not going the right way, and then maybe it ends up a bomb or something.
Yeah.
What do you do then? I mean, because you have made those calculations earlier on, and then gotten into the project.
Exactly, it is backfired so many times. Like, that's why I told you, like, I don't even though I plan, like, I tell all this, like I don't plan a lot of things, because all these kind of plans that I've made earlier in my career, they've not worked out properly. Like, even though I might think, oh, this guy is a very big director, he's such a good team, and then you end up making a very bad film, and you can't complain the audience by saying they've not liked my movie. It's just, I feel that's very stupid. See, end of the day, a movie might work, it might not work. There's no formula. I feel like you can never guess the formula to how a movie will come out. You just hope that it turns out well, and you make sure that the whole team works towards this. It's not like a few people are like laid back, and like a few people just take it for granted, saying, oh, this is just another project. When I'm working in a movie, I make sure that everyone treats it with the same kind of seriousness and same kind of genuinity that I do the movie. So that's how I do it.
Now, finally, I'm going to name 5 directors, and I want you to tell me what they taught you about acting. I'll begin with Sudha.
Sudha ma'am, she taught me to be very genuine, not only in films but in life too. Like, whatever you do, be very genuine to it.
Abridshine.
Abridshine, he taught me you necessarily don't have to be the protagonist of the movie can be the protagonist. Yeah, like you don't have to be the hero of a movie can be the hero. That's what he taught me.
That's good. Do you follow that?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
To a certain extent.
What a certain extent?
I mean, see, it's very easy to keep it in mind, but like you said before, you can plan everything, but it will happen in a different way.
Right.
So whatever I can do, I try to do from my end.
Jeethujoseph.
Jeethujoseph. I want to say a lot of things.
Please say a lot of things.
Even though you're working with a big director, make sure if the character fits you. Like, only you know if the character fits you more than the director. So make a wise choice.
But Ayush, is that right? Because sometimes we don't see ourselves the way other people do, right? Sometimes they know things that...
Sometimes. But given that Jeethujoseph sir and me have not spoken, or like we've not been
and
the best.
Your film didn't do this.
Yeah, it really didn't do well. It was so bad. Like, I saw the movie and I was not at all happy.
That was Mr. and Mrs. Rowdy.
Yeah. I was not at all happy with my work. But then again, I blame myself for it, because I was supposed to take the upper hand, and I was supposed to tell him that, see, this I will not be able to pull off such a character. I could never picture myself as the character in that movie. So I should have done that.
What is the character in the movie? I haven't seen it, so can you tell me?
He's a rogue. He's a rowdy kind of person. He's a very rough kind of person. You know, like when I choose a certain character, there has to be some of me in that character. Only then I can make it believable, is what I felt from my past experience. Because if you take Puttam Pudu Kalai, will be Kalidas like on a very major scale, because there's a very little of that character in that, because that's how I am. Like, it's very easy. It's very easy for me, and it looks very pleasant for the people who are watching also, when they see something real, like when they see you, or like when they say something which is conveyed in a very real manner, like Nakshatram Nagargida. The Indian was in a very major portion, it was me. I am very possessive in life. Like I have that. It's not a good thing. I'm trying like my best to change that, but I am very possessive. I make very politically incorrect remarks. That is me. I say that, and then I realize that it's wrong. So that is me. So, but I can never see myself doing Arjun's character, because that is not me. That I have to be someone else to Kalai's character in Nakshatram Nagar. Right. That is something else that I'll never be able to pull off. I should have told, when I did Mr. and Ms. Rowdy, I should have told that I don't see myself playing this character. You know how much, like, no matter how much you try, or like you try to become this, you need to have a certain conviction or certain truth in that character, like, which you will be able to pull off. For Thangam, it was totally different. It was not me, but I had a feminine side in me which I could bring out through the workshops and through readings and all that. The only barrier was to break that.
Which was?
Which is like, you know, like guys in general, they don't show it out. But everyone has a feminine, every guy has a feminine side in him.
Of course.
Yeah. 90% of the guys, they don't show it out. So I just had to break that barrier and just bring it out. And it was in me. It was.
Haven't you seen Tamil cinema? People, all the guys, they have their hearts broken, they cry,
Yeah.
they sing sad songs.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
all, I mean,
Yeah, it's all there. It's
yeah.
all inside you. So I feel you have to have a certain truth inside you. Only then you can play the character.
So what you're saying is, let's take Joaquin Phoenix, right? A good actor is generally known by the range of characters they
Yeah,
play, right?
yeah.
Generally, an actor
Yeah.
is evaluated by, oh, he's done this and
Yeah.
he's done this and he's done this and like that. So what you're saying is that actor is still restricted by that actor's own personality in terms of what they can do.
That's been the case with me.
Okay.
But I would really love to try something which is not me at all.
Right.
But I feel like I've not reached the point in life where I'm brave enough to try that. You know, like I've faced a lot of failures because I've tried it before. So now I'm very careful as to, make that extra move where I'm not playing, where I'm playing something which is totally on the opposite side.
Okay.
But I really would love to do that because I want to see how much I can push myself as an actor.
Let's say somebody comes to you tomorrow with an angry young man script.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be useful for you to see,
Yeah.
like otherwise you're always going to be playing a certain, whatever you say, relatable guy next door. Let's say supposing somebody came to you with a serial killer script.
Yeah, I would love to do that.
Yeah, wow. You said yes to that immediately.
Yeah,
okay.
I would love to do that.
I'm scared now.
No, because see, even a serial killer doesn't need to be
out there kind of.
Yeah, I can always play a serial killer who's like this also. Like, So that's how I approach a certain character. Like, whatever works for us, I think that's when you're comfortable with a certain this thing. I think it's best to go with that. If I have the time and if I'm investing my energy in it, then I would definitely take the time period and prepare for the character. I would never just jump into it and just go for shoot immediately the other day and the next day and then go for shoot. That would never be my decision. See, like how you said, if I've been approached by a director to do an angry young man, I know that I'm not like that. But I would definitely put in the effort and the time which is required to make myself transform into that character. Only then I would go for shoot.
Right. Yeah. And also believe that you can do it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
That's part
definitely.
of the transformation.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Balajitharaneetharan.
Balaji sir, he taught me that you don't need big stars to make good movies. You can, you just need a good material, good written material and a bunch of very motivated set of people who love cinema to make good cinema.
And finally, Paranjith.
Ranjit sir was like a university of acting to me. Seriously, a lot of people know this. He's such a good actor. He's a brilliant actor, and we've all done
He's on theatre.
He's a fine arts student. He's into theatre. We've only done 50% of what he's performed and showed us. And
is he the kind of director who performs and shows?
I mean, if it's required, because for me, especially because I'm coming from a background where I can mimic. I'm into mimicking people, so it's very easy for me to pick up something which has already been done there. That's why I'm very skeptical of watching something before I go for my shoot also, because subconsciously it tends to get into me. Even for that matter, mimicry, a lot of people tell me do like Ajit or do like Vijay, or like how we were talking before. In my initial movies, I still remember Balaji sir told me, all that mimicry is great, but you have to stop doing it at least until the movie finishes, because in a lot of scenes and a lot of shots, it's resembling a lot of actors. When you do a certain emotion, you've already seen the actor do that, so you tend to repeat that and tend to mimic it. In that process, you don't do your own, the real your emotion doesn't come out. So because I have that thing, it's very easy for me to mimic him. So he makes it a point not to act it out for me. Because I exactly tend to mimic how he does, and I do that. He's such a good actor. He's such a good filmmaker. The knowledge that he has, the books that he reads, the kind of topics he talks to us. It's just a wonderful experience working with him, and generally talking to him, not only working with him, spending time with him, talking about various topics. And generally about life also, how life has been unfair to him in a lot of places. I could relate to it in a lot of times when he spoke about his life. I could relate to it. So yeah, it has just been a wonderful experience working with him. I really hope he calls me back for his next movie.
Yeah, I think Inian
yes.
could use a sequel of his own.
Yeah, sir, please, sir.
So anyway, thank you so much, Kalidas. That was really interesting to hear you talk about acting, because that's really what I wanted to do, which is to kind of explore what you thought of acting, and because your choice of performances have been so different. So thanks for sharing.
Thank you, sir.
And
Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Thank you so much.